I just had to say something about one of the most insane things that's ever happened to me in my entire life. And this was during the period when I was rolling ecstasy every single day for 4.5 months. And about 4 months of the way into it, I had this time when I wasn't getting any real sleep through that whole period. It was so weird. My mind would not be bullshitted. My memory would stay more solid during the dreams than of actual real life. Like, my mind would not be bullshitted and forget about real life for a second and dream, which all of its life prior to that is how it worked. But what happened is I thought I was standing in my kitchen. I was actually at my work at Target, sitting in a coat room, and it was dark, and this is the door right here, and then there's it was completely dark in there, and this is 12 feet back from the door, and I was sitting directly at it, and there's a wall on all sides of the break room door, 4 or 5 feet in each direction and above the door. And I thought I was standing in my kitchen at home at Spruce, staring down at a table with a Kleenex box on it. And then out of the center of the Kleenex box was shining light. And I couldn't figure out why there would be light shining out of a Kleenex box. But I was completely zonked out at the same time. Like not there in both worlds. And I was like, as soon as I started realizing that it was impossible that there could be light shining out of a Kleenex box like that. Because the door went out into the room, into the darkness like this, in the same shape that a Kleenex box coming up off of a table would look. So as soon as I realized I was actually sitting on my ass in a dark coat room at Target, and not standing in my kitchen at Spruce, staring at a Kleenex box with light coming out of it. I was just standing there just like this, scratching my head, looking at it. I was like, is that light coming out of a Kleenex box? And as soon as I realized, but wait, that's only half of a Kleenex box. That can't be, because the floor, a door, in order to be a whole Kleenex box, the floor would have needed to have been a mirror, and then so the reflection of the door goes down like a full Kleenex box. But the floor wasn't a mirror, so it was really fucking me up. Trying to figure that out for 35 seconds before I realized that couldn't possibly be happening. And right around when that was starting to happen, I was like, okay, I must be dreaming. So I got up really fast, and I ran out into the hall, and I was like, but I'm floating downwards into the Kleenex box. What the fuck is happening? I had no idea that I'd actually gotten up and started running out of the room. I thought I was just floating into the Kleenex box sideways like this. I was hallucinating that that's what was happening. But I really had gotten up and started running, and then right as I was coming out of the, after I'd ran the 12 feet, and I'd ran out into the hall with light in it, I realized, holy shit, I'm not actually dreaming, this is real life. And I'm standing in the hall at work, at Target, for real, and I had this really fucked look on my face, and I was looking down the hall in both directions, and I wonder still to this day if somebody I worked with came and saw me in that condition. It would have been obvious, within 1 second, that I was on something, or something really messed up was happening. And I was just looking back, I was like, oh my god, I'm at work! I'm actually at work, I was certain that I was sleeping, and I was just floated down into a Kleenex box. But then right when I got through the crack of the Kleenex box, in the dream, it was the dream was the dark room, the clothing room, and then as soon as I went through the doorway, or in the dream, floated uncontrollably through the Kleenex box, gravity was just pulling me through it. That's what I was actually, but I was actually at the very same time getting up and running out the door. I put it together later on. I was like, how could I have been running out the door and dreaming that I was floating out of the door at the same time? I really wish that could have been seen on camera. I probably looked really weird coming out of the doorway. For some reason, my mind, as soon as that started happening, just behind my subconscious decided for me anyways to get up and start running without me being aware of it. Probably like the exact same equivalent to sleepwalking, and you're dreaming something else, because that's what happened to me for like 15-20 seconds. And while I was snapping out of the realization that I was actually awake and not dreaming, and that was really fucking me up. For like 20 seconds, I couldn't believe it. My world was like tumbling from that for like 15-20 seconds. And thank God nobody that I work with came up and saw me in that condition. But I always wonder what things would have been like if they had. What if Doug Stover came around the corner when that was happening to me? I always thought about him the most. I thought about like most of the Waldo. That would have been funny if Waldo saw me in that condition. I thought about like Tammy, Tolly, man, she comes around the corner and finds me in that condition. I would actually love to see that. Like, go back, like, this would be such cool technology to go back to a memory and actually just, like, load somebody in. Or, like, so you can see exactly what would have happened. If that person came, like, walking down the hall, like, right as that was happening to you, like, or, right, like, someone comes into the room to, this is the best thing that could have possibly happened with Waldo. So he's walking up with his coat, he's about to come into the room to hang his coat. And he sees me. This is just a hypothetical. In that condition, get up and run out of the room and stand there in front of the time clock, like getting my balance together in realization that I'm actually not dreaming. It took me like probably an extra 10 seconds after I was through the Kleenex box to realize I was actually awake for real and not just dreaming with like terrible gravity. And Waldo comes walking around the corner. He's standing there and witnesses the whole thing, holding his coat. That's funny because I thought about hypotheticals like that for like maybe 7 or 8 different people. Like Chris Toll comes walking around the corner, or he's just like punching in and like at the time clock, and I come out and do that with that look on my face. That's the thing I'd like to see from a second or third point perspective is, what was the look on my face? It had to be fucked. I know it was fucked. Just remembering it, and I was like, well, I would like to see what that look on my face was from like I was being filmed. I really wish I could do that. Because I'd really like to have seen what the look on my face was while it was happening. It had to be fucked. That was a really insane thing while it was happening for that like 20 seconds. I was like, the whole 20 seconds I was just like, holy shit! Like my world was being tumbled like so hard for like 20 seconds. So yeah, that was a really insane thing that happened. Only once. Probably will never happen again. That's like a once in a lifetime thing, I'm pretty sure.